So here's what I'd like to call the Star Trek analogy. And I say this because first I have to make a reference to the last Star Trek movie, Star Trek Into Darkness, where it's the new Kirk and the new Spock, and they have the old Spock in there, and because of a time distortion in the first one, they can have all new adventures and still use all the original characters like Khan. Khan was used in this second movie. So in the beginning of Star Trek Into Darkness, the crew, the Enterprise, they're trying to save this primitive race on a planet. And in doing so, they let themselves be seen. They've gotten everybody out of danger. The volcano was extinguished. And all of a sudden, there's this huge ship flying through the air that saved them. They have no idea what a starship is, so instantly they relate it to God. So now let's fast forward this few thousand years, maybe a million years, somewhere up to a more modern industrial age of these same people. And here in this modern world, they have, for lack of better terminology, the Church of Star Trek. What's their symbol? An image of the Enterprise that they originally drew in the ground. Now, what's going to happen with this religion thousands of years later? Well, people are going to suspect that, just because they weren't there, they didn't see this stuff happen, well then, this God must be false. And all the other arguments that are applying now on our planet, in our time, are going to apply then as well. Are they going to have atheists come up and say, well, you can't prove your God exists. You can't prove your God named Enterprise. And what are we going to have? We're going to have the whole argument on another planet, in another time, over the same dumbass shit. How does this pertain to anything? Well, it pertains to a simple thing that I saw from the crew of Monty Python's Flying Circus. And when they were introducing the movie The Life of Brian, this was years ago, but you can still find the footage today, that they made a very good point when they were deciding on how to go with the story plot. First they were thinking about using Jesus, but then they figured that was a bad idea. They couldn't really find anything useful or funny about Jesus. And then they came up with an idea of this guy who's always coming in late and missing the miracle.
We all started writing about around the edges, all the people who'd arrived 5 minutes after the miracle had been done. which is as bad as being 2,000 years late. The point is, if you didn't see it, it doesn't matter whether you're 5 minutes late or whatever. Actually, we did have the idea that he was the 13th disciple, didn't we? A sort of slight hanger-on. Yes, that's right. He was going to write a gospel, but he was always late.
And the point being, it doesn't matter if you were 5 minutes late or 500 years late for the miracle. You didn't see it, so you can doubt whether it happened or not. And this is a very good truth aspect of this, I think. That just because we didn't see the miracles, we're either 5 minutes or 500 years too late, so therefore the miracle doesn't count. You weren't there. The one alien says to the other, you weren't there. You don't know if your God Enterprise actually did anything. And how does that relate to religion? Well, it relates to the story of Jesus, like I said, with the Monty Python. And that, we do have evidence of things. Can everything be proven? No, of course not. We can't prove the miracles happen. We have substantial evidence that the man, Jesus himself, existed. I mean, it's historical fact. You can look it up yourself, that the historian who was trying to write the history down, he didn't really want to include Jesus because he didn't like Jesus, but he felt it was his job to make sure that he was included when he wrote this stuff down. So no matter how much he disliked Jesus, he felt a certain intellectual honesty to make sure that his life was recorded down. So what do we know about Jesus? We know he was real. We know he had some ideas. We know people rejected these ideas, and he was nailed to a tree for trying to make people think new thoughts. And that's all you really need to understand about this, is that there was a man, he had some ideas. I have my own opinion on where he got these ideas from. I personally believe he learned Buddhism. There's evidence of it, but I'm not going to get into that now. He was basically teaching Buddhism. Everything else can be put into myth, and the myths can be explained. Most of the myths can be rationally explained, such as the resurrection. But that's not the point. The point is, there was a man, he gave us some new ideas of thinking, and that is it in a nutshell. What you do with this information is up to you.